Well, everybody, it's Henry Weeder, man. I'm working on a Craftsman T1300, and I'm changing the oil. So I've already taken the old oil filter off. I've already drained it, and now you take the new oil filter, and this is not a preference. There's been studies and tests on this, so I'm going to switch back. There's been study and tests on this, that you should take the new oil filter. I was taught this when I was a kid, 50-some years ago. I'm upgrading to 30 weight because it's hot in the south. I don't use 10W30, I use 30 weight. All my engines, your preference. Follow the manufacturers. And I'm going to pre-fill this. This is a smaller filter, but it will suck it up. You're taking, and then you get the right oil level because you've already pre-filled the filter with oil, and you give the engine something to suck on before you start it, so you're not running it dry. Just a few seconds with that on the bearings is tough on it. That's where most of your wear is when it's cold, when you start it up. So anyways, I pre-filled it. I'm letting it soak it in real good. You can see it going down. It's just like a giant wick is all it is. It's about 1.5 quarts to 2 quarts in this engine. Then you're going to put it on hand tight. I had to use a tool to get it off because somebody put a tool to get it on. If you do that, what'll happen sometimes is you'll get that inner thread, the inner piece of the filter stuck on there, and you go to take it off. I had to use a screwdriver before to get a filter off, and then I had to use a pipe wrench on it to get that inner nut off because it got stuck on there. So you got to be careful with it. Hand tight is fine. You can't put it hand tight and then use a tool and don't go any more than a quarter turn. So anyways, I'm doing a full tune-up on this. I've already done the fuel filter. I've already done the air filter. So I put a little oil on the O-ring. I pre-filled it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it on. And like I said, hand tight. Now, I'll also show you once I get this on there. And make sure that O-ring stays in there. Make sure it stays in place, or you'll go to start it up and you'll blow oil everywhere. And you can tell. Yeah. Hand tight. I got a pretty good grip, trust me. That's all you got to do. Now, flip my phone. Now, I wrote the date on it, okay? Some people can't remember this, so it's a white. I like the white filters. So I write the month on it and the year, so you know when I change it out, 8/24. Now, I do the fuel filter, oil filter, and I do the air filter. Now, if you're doing heavy cutting, I'd say, homeowner, you do this twice a year. Right before the season and the end of the season. And then down here in the south, sometimes we'll cut grass a little bit more, but then the oil's sitting in there. So I changed the oil on this already. Now I got to finish topping it off. I'll finish topping it off. I'll do a start run on this, and then I'll get this back to the customer. I'll make sure all the air's in the tire. I'll make sure if there's any greasing joints in the front are greased, and I'll make sure he's ready to go. This one came in. His brother gave it to him, and he had broke the front steering arm. I'm waiting for that piece to come in. That's easy to swap out. You just undo this lock nut, turn this off, get your adjustment right, make sure your wheels are straight. This has a nut on it, take it off, put a new one on, good to go. I'll take that off too. But I cleaned it all up for him. I serviced it. Next, I'm going to go ahead and sharpen his blades while I'm waiting on the other part to come in. And this more will be ready for the customer. And I give it back to him clean, serviced. I record it so they know what I did. I cleaned the battery. I need to paint this. I need to paint the not paint, I call it paint, but it's spray. I've already wire brushed those, but what I'm going to do is, excuse the mess I got going on here. I got a lot of stuff going on. Cleaning up. I got it somewhere. There we go. Use a little bit. I use it doesn't matter. CRC battery terminal protector. You just need to put a little bit on there. Shake it up. And this just keeps it from oxidizing, getting battery acid growth on it. If you do have battery acid growth, just take some baking soda, mix a little bit into some water, pour it over it, then I'll eat it up. That'll dissolve it and neutralize it. And then you go ahead and clean it, and then you go ahead and treat those posts. So anyways, this guy will have a nice full tune-up. I'll level out the deck, make sure it's good to go. And that's it. That'll be the tune-up and maintenance on the guy's riding lawnmower they brought in the other day for me. All right, thank you, and have a good weekend.